Everyone? 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 Quiet down. Listen to me. The meeting's about to start soon. Quiet! Thank you. Now, I just wanted to say this marks the 10th year we've been on this planet. We have bided our time, lived in the shadows, and grown our forces. And soon, the great devourer that is the hive mind will come down and consume this planet.
Question? How do you know they won't eat us? Cause I was talking to some of my buddies, and we're not sure we're down for the whole getting consumed thing.
Are you serious? We have been planning for years for this moment. To give ourselves to a greater cause. And if we must be consumed to fulfill it, so be it.
I wish you would have told me that sooner, cause I already kinda called the Space Marines.
The space who? Oh my god.
Warhammer 40k. It's the only series where you can describe it in 2 words. Everything sucks. And I'm not exaggerating. Here, let me give you a quick synopsis of the setting. It's the 41st millennia. There is only war. There's bugs that want to eat you, elves that want to torture you, elves that don't want to torture you but just hate you, green spore mushroom British people who are only here for the sake of fighting. And the one resembling thing of humanity, well, its leader is basically comatose in a chair where they feed 1,000 psychic babies to him every single day to make sure that he keeps on their equivalent of space Google Maps, so the forces of literal hell don't come out and rip them asunder. Yeah, so safe to say everything sucks. But if you wanted to know why it all ended up like this, well, technically it's thanks to this guy. But it's thanks to this guy. But it's also thanks to this guy. But it's also thanks to the Emperor of Mankind being a terrible dad. Being 100% serious, this guy looked at one of his sons who had nails in his brain making him angry all the time and said, yeah, you'll be fine. But if there was one good thing to come from this franchise, it's the games. But wait, you may be asking yourself, what even is a Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition? Well, remember when I was talking about literal hell earlier? This is called the warp. This is what humanity uses to get from one place to another. And let's just say it's not the most reliable thing. Sometimes a bunch of ships can end up in there and get jumbled up together and back into real space. Some of these ships could be really, really important because they come from the
Golden Angel technology.
This is the time where mankind was at its strongest. So basically, these Space Hulks, as they're named, could be treasure troves of ancient relics and technology. That's why you play as the Librarian, a super psyker, which are basically super psychics, who is a part of the Dark Angels' first company. Dark Angels are Space Marines. What is a Space Marine? Well, for my 11% female audience, you might want to leave for this. Now, you're told by this guy, Grandmaster Belial, whose model costs nearly $40 on Amazon, that, hey, you need to go into the ship and grab stuff. And then you say, yeah, okay, I will do that right now. Also, I got a really bad headache. And then you and 2 other battle brothers, don't worry about these guys, they don't do anything. I'm pretty sure we wasted the gene seed on them. Fly into the Space Hulk, and that's where the journey begins. Space Hulks aren't entirely empty. They're mostly empty, but there's always that one occasional warp demon, or in our case, Gene Stealers. Gene Stealer? I hardly know her! Remember those bugs I was talking about earlier? The ones that want to eat everything? Well, these are what they sent ahead of their fleet in order to disrupt society, to make it easier for their meal. And these guys are not to be taken lightly. They may look small, but they can tear through our ancient, old-ass, nearly invincible armor with ease. They also come in variants. You got the regular one with zits, regular one with zits that explodes. You got the tentacle variants, and then you get the hive tyrants. And guys, when the dossier for these creatures say virtually immortal, they are not kidding.
Oh my god. How much health do these guys have?
But don't worry, they give you a huge selection of weapons to deal with these guys. Like the heavy flamer you saw in the intro.
There's so many!
They fly now?
To miniguns that shred everything in their path. There's also melee weapons too, but I didn't get that much footage with them. You got the power claws, you got the power sword, the power axe. There's a lot of power things. Did I forget to mention there's also an incendiary shotgun that melts your enemies alive? Basically, what I'm trying to say is if you want a weapon that can make your enemies to little stains on the floor, you got it. Or you could just run into them. The game also has classes that you can play as. You got the librarian with his psychic powers, assault with his landmines, and then the apothecary with his healing needle, which I'm pretty sure he would just punch you in the face with.
Jesus!
Now playing this game on solo mode is fun, but your teammates don't do anything. They're kind of, absent. This game is 100% better with friends. I highly recommend it. It's free on PlayStation Plus right now. But if you've been watching my gameplay, you may have noticed that to the side there's this little icon. This is your damage thing. You see, this game doesn't really have health bars except for your allies. What this little icon means is that damage is localized. So if your arm gets chewed off, you're not going to be able to shoot with your arm. If your legs get chewed off, you're not going to be able to shoot with your legs. Eventually, after you take enough damage, you're going to start to look like a potato. On a side note, I'm really happy that Warhammer actually has fun games, especially with Space Marine 2 coming out. You could play the tabletop game, but you would have to spend, your life savings on it. But in conclusion, that's all I really have to say about the game. It's really fun. I highly recommend playing it with friends. But anyway, thank you for watching, and you have a nice day.